tonight's event means a lot to me, both professionally and personally. From a professional standpoint, I'm really proud that PwC's gotten behind me on this initiative. So they've put forth a corporate sponsorship, including some of the sponsorships that we've got going this evening. And then we've put a goal out there of $250,000 to raise within our firm, which, Bob, that's 2 times Morgan Stanley. I didn't want to give you a hard time about that earlier. But we'll do everything we can to make Morgan Stanley up there. But, I mean, everyone's very committed to this, but I think we put a very high goal out there for PwC to say we've got to lead by example as far as where this goes. And I think Kim and Mara will go through the overall New York numbers, but we're looking to raise somewhere near $4 million. Is that in total? For the New York City area. So this is great, and I'm really excited about the effort. I mean, personally, this is really one that touches me and my family quite a bit. So, a year ago, I was, like you, sitting out in the audience, participating here. I don't know what screenshots they've got up there. We got a few, but a little over a year ago, I got a call from my doctor. I was in London. I got my annual physical. Before that, I had run 3 New York City marathons. I was a health workout freak. I never went to the doctor. I never got sick. I never took a sick day. And I was in London. My wife had accompanied me on the trip. We were sitting there. It was a great night in London, looking at the Tower Bridge. My phone rings. It's the doctor who gave me the physical. Said, well, nothing really to worry about, but we noticed some enlarged lymph nodes on your physical. I said, okay. She says, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It was right before the 4th of July. It was literally almost a year ago today. And I said, can you send me the report? So she sends me the report email. It's a very small thing. It says abnormal finding, prominent clavicular lymph node. Prominent left clavicular lymph node. So immediately I pulled out my phone and I Googled prominent left clavicular lymph node. So if you want to do that right now, LLS is probably the first thing that pops up. And every single Google result said cancer. So of course my wife is yelling at me, what are you reading Google for? Stop reading Google. The doctor said it wasn't a big deal. So it took me about another 2 weeks to actually go in for a couple more tests, a CAT scan, ultimately a biopsy, and lo and behold, I was diagnosed with lymphoma at the time. I was told the story today at Morgan Stanley, when they give you the biopsy, they put a needle in your neck and they squirt it into a test tube, and there's a woman pathologist who sits behind the microscope and she's looking at it, and it was like she caught a fish. It was like, I got something, almost like in the way that she reacted. And I said afterwards, like, well, what do you think? And she goes, I'm worried about lymphoma. And then as I was leaving, I leaned over to the doctor and I said, so? And the doctor's like, oh, we have to really analyze the results. We'll call your doctor first thing in the morning. You'll have the results by 10 o'clock tomorrow. And then I leaned over to the pathologist and I said, you said you were worried about lymphoma. Were you worried or you saw it? And she goes, oh, no, I saw lymphoma. She goes, I'm just trying to figure out what kind you have. So that's how I found out. I know there's a lot of stories that people have. I got the official phone call the next day, made my way to Sloan Kettering, who reran every single test till the sun comes down, 55 ways to Sunday. And it turns out that I was diagnosed not only with lymphoma, but I had stage 4 Hodgkin's at the time. So it spread to my bone marrow and into my spleen and abdomen and the like. When Sloan was doing all the other tests, though, they also came back and said, hey, look, your CAT scans showed something very unusual in your brain. They sent me for further MRIs, and lo and behold, I got struck by lightning twice. So turns out I was also diagnosed with a brain tumor. The good news on that is it's very slow growing, and kind of a lower grade malignancy. The bad news was they couldn't operate on it. They more or less said, it's in a bad spot. We don't really want to operate. But they did need to do some surgery to kind of alleviate hydrocephalus so that I could start chemo. So I went from being perfectly healthy on, July 26th to being diagnosed with lymphoma on August 1st to on August 22nd having brain surgery to alleviate the hydrocephalus, and then starting 7 months of chemo. on August 25th. So in literally 45 days, my life just turned totally upside down in terms of where things go. You've got a couple of screenshots on there. That's me right after on the right after I had the neurosurgery, and then starting chemo on the left. So it's been a tough year. I'd say, on the other hand, I'm standing here before you today. If you see my scans, I'm in remission on the Hodgkin's. I still got the tumor, but I'm talking okay, am I not? Is it not so bad? So that's kind of a continued surveillance thing, as is any other cancers in the Hodgkin's stuff. And you know, I really, as I went through this, you know, a couple things. One, I always thought that cancer and fighting cancer, beating cancer, was all about being cured. We had someone talk today at one of the events, and they were cured. I'm in remission of lymphoma. I'm not sure that I'm going to be cured on the other one, but we're going to keep working through it. But what I've kind of realized from my perspective is beating cancer is much more about not letting cancer beat you. During the past year, I never stopped working. So I enjoy what I do. I work with a great bunch of people. Work gave me social contact. It gave me a sense of purpose. I enjoyed it. I certainly didn't work as hard when I was going through treatments as I did before. But it was a really important part of who I am and what I did and my connections in my life. You know, spent more time with my family. A couple of my kids are here today, and friends. And then really looked at how I can help others, right, in terms of this process, and very much got involved with LLS and the whole process here. So, you know, when I look back on the last year, it's kind of like most people think, oh my God. You know, on the other hand, I actually really had a great year. You know, I was able to kind of continue to work and connect with my social network. I got to know my family better, and now I'm heavily engaged in moving forward on this LLS effort, which I really want to make successful. As I told, I'm not sure my CEO's too happy, because I said, you know, I'm really not worried about hitting my PwC numbers, but if we don't make the light to night goal, then I'm really going to be disappointed. So bottom line, this is really important to me to make this happen. I'm thankful that all of you have decided to show up today and make this a success for us. And I'm really looking forward to October. We're going to have a bunch of great events. I think the Macy's crew is getting together with the Barclays crew to get a fashion meets finance, a couple of mixers that are out there. I know we've got a few golf outings and a bunch of guest bartender events. So we're going to be doing a whole bunch of things between now and the walk. And then, like, from your perspective, to the extent that folks have ideas as to more things we can do to kind of raise awareness and money, we're really excited. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Kimberly and Mara to get going. But thank you for coming today. We really need your help. And I've never come in second, ever. So we're gonna hit our goal this year. Thank you all.